Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Heidi, and in this video I'm going to talk about the book This Golden Flame by Emily Victoria. I received this book in the Fairy Loot subscription box for the month of February, and I finally completed it. I did follow along with their read along, and I was a few days behind, but I finished it, and I figured I'd make a video just talking about the story and let you know what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, and my overall rating of the book. Now, because this was a book from Fairy Loot, it is a special edition copy. I will bring up on the screen the original cover, what that looks like in comparison. As far as the design goes for the cover, it's nice. It's nothing really I'm too crazy about. I think it's just pretty simple. I don't mind it. I think I do like the special edition more than the original cover, but my favorite part just of like the look of the book before I talk about the actual story, which is probably what you're here for, but what I like most about the look is probably the inside sleeve. It shows the main characters and a few others. I love the naked cover as well. I believe this is our main character, Karis, on the front, and she's wearing I think it's like a ancient Greece inspired kind of clothing, so that's kind of like the theme of their style. It's pretty interesting, and I really like to see that on the cover of the book as well in art form rather than just me imagining it. I don't know, I just like going that, so I have kind of a face to go with while I'm reading. This book is a YA fantasy novel. It is a standalone. I didn't notice it was a standalone until I finished the book, and I thought it was a really good standalone novel. It's been a while since I've read standalones. I'm always in series, and just like I guess every time I do start a standalone without knowing it is one, I expect there to be more books coming out. It does wrap up nicely. It does have an end to this at the end of the story. There's no cliffhangers. It's a pretty good standalone. And like I said, Karis is our main character. She is an acolyte and serving for the scriptorium. So we follow Karis, but we also follow another character in the book that goes back and forth, which is Alex. Alex is an automaton that Karis does find by accident, and Alex is very different from all the other automatons, where he has intelligence, he has emotions, he has thoughts of his own, and he has feelings. So it's very jarring at first to find Alex, and they do become friends really quickly, and they both realize they can both help each other, what both their goals are in mind. Karis has lost her brother from the acolytes. Karis and her brother had gotten into trouble years ago, and they had taken Karis's brother away from him, and she's been trying to find him and escape the island she's at right now to get closer to her brother and to save him. And so that's her main goal. And Alex, he has woken from a sleep he didn't know he was in, and it has now been 200 years. So along the story, he is continually questioning why his father made him, and more about his father and his last dying days and what had happened to him, as Alex and Karis are teaming together to help one another in both their goals. They are both learning more and more about the history of the scriptoriums and the lies that they have. Now, what the acolytes are doing, they are researching to bring back life to the automatons, and the main reason for these automatons, aside from Alex, was to use them to control the people and to just gain power. It was more so that our main villain was one who just wanted, you know, like kind of like world domination in a sense. So he just wanted to control the people he was above. We stumble upon other main characters. There are other characters that help along the way or hinder their travels. The first people they encounter are pirates, and the captain of the crew is Zara. She is another protagonist in this book who I think is one of my favorite characters aside from the two main characters. I really like her in the story. I liked her from the beginning scene to the end scene. She was just really well done. Now, I did end up giving this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I do think there were some room for some improvement, more particularly, I guess, with the world building. I do feel like this book was more character-based, and which is something I love, which is why I really liked the story. It was very character-driven, very focused on the connections between Karis and Alex. Also, Alex trying to identify who he is, what his purpose is in life, why he was created, because he is an automaton. He's not like human, but he wants to be treated like a human because he has the same feelings, interactions with other, like he shares the same emotions as humans, and he doesn't want to be viewed like a weapon like all the other automatons are viewed. It's very character driven. It also reminded me a lot of like Pinocchio when it came to his dad, just because his dad created him and he wanted to be like a real human boy. That was kind of funny. I don't think that was the purpose the author was trying to make. Like I don't think they wanted to sell it as like a Pinocchio inspired story, but it really did feel that way when when Alex would be talking about his father, and when he would learn more about his father and the reasoning why he created him and why he is the way he is. Something I didn't really like too much was the villain of the story. I feel like the villain wanting kind of essentially world domination, or to dominate and to rule, for the villain to want to have control of every single human and to have so much power and control over humans in like where he wanted them to be kind of like automatons. His reasoning, it wasn't really interesting, to be honest. He wasn't very menacing. When he would come on scene, I think there was like twice we saw him in the story, and I didn't really feel much. I didn't feel intimidated, or he just wasn't a very good villain. I wish we could have a better villain. Since this book seems to be very character driven, I would have preferred a better villain amongst all these characters as well. What I did really like was there was quite a bit of LGBTQ plus in the story. It wasn't really put in a way where the story is mainly about LGBTQ plus. It was more these characters were a part of that community, like our main character, and I didn't realize this at all throughout the whole book until I started looking up other reviews and seeing what people were writing about the story, and I found out that the main character was asexual, and it made sense as I look back to how the character reacted, or how the character was in the story, and I really enjoyed that. And I think I didn't realize that at the beginning, because I don't think that I can remember that I've really read any main characters that are asexual, and I'd really love to read more of that. I also really liked the geography of the story as well. I liked where they were placed. They were placed on different islands, and like I said, Karis and Alex were stopped by pirates, so obviously they needed to sail to get to the place Karis' brother was at. So I really enjoyed different islands and the fact that we were on out on sea. It really reminded me of a book I read last year. It really reminded me of Crown of Bones, where the story isn't about being out on sea and pirates and sailors and stuff, but there is a good chunk of pirates and sailors in the story, and I really loved it. In the Crown of Bones, it's kind of the same concept in the very beginning, where there's the two characters or a group of characters are traveling to some place, and then a sailor helps them along the way because they need to travel by sea. And I loved that, and I guess I haven't read too many books that were traveling on a boat or anything like that, so I really enjoyed that part of it. Also, if you have read the book and you're really annoyed that I'm not mentioning a character, I think his name is, what is his name? In the beginning, we do follow Karis and Dane. Dane is a friend of Karis, but it didn't seem like there was much of him in the story that really needed to be said. Dain was a friend. He was a soldier of the Scriptoriums. He helped Karis get out. When Dain saw that Karis and Alex were running away to find her brother, he kind of followed along with them to help them out, but it just didn't seem like there was much of him in the story that was really important. Like, I feel like if he wasn't in the story, not much would change, maybe some things slightly, but it just, I don't think there was much of him that needed to be there. And not that I think he should have been taken out of the story, but I think there should have been more of a purpose for him in the story. I wish we would have seen something more from him. It seemed like it was gonna be a love triangle between what's his name again? Dain, him, Karis, and Alex, but it wasn't that big of a deal, I didn't think, and because the character of Alex and Karis were so strong, Dain just really felt flat for me, and I wish there was more from him. Not that I wanted him out of the story, I just wanted more from him, like more of backstory maybe. I also wish we could have, with Alex's father, I wish we could have gotten flashbacks of the times, like when, as Alex was remembering more of his father, it seemed more of like a montage of little things that he remembered. I wish we could have gone back and there would have been like a chapter of a scene of him and his father together. That would have been really great. That would have been a lot stronger for me continuing through the book. The reasoning why I gave it a 3.5 stars was because I did enjoy the story overall. I thought the beginning was a lot stronger than when it got to the last quarter of the book. I mean, it wrapped up pretty nicely, and I enjoyed my time reading it. I just thought that more would come out of the story, but other than that, I do really like the story. I think it was really great to pick up. If you are looking for a great and an easy, fun, standalone fantasy novel, I think This Golden Flame is a really great one to try out. Yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. If you came all the way to the end of the video, if you want to comment below just an emoji of like a fire emoji, that would be really great. That way I would know that you're watching all the way through. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you sticking through and watching my video. Thanks again. Have a good one. Bye.